It also seems like what you learned in preparing for this movie changed you in a big way too. Would you say that's true?
Yeah, I don't think you can watch this movie and not be changed. And for me as an actor, without a doubt, you can't spend so much time involved in this character, in this story, learning everything that I learned about that part of the world, about that type of human being, and not remain in some ways moved, in some ways changed, and some for the better, but also some for the worse. You know, sometimes when your eyes are open to things, you're kind of like, really, it's an intense experience to realize what is going on down in Sudan that we just don't know about. But what's cool about this movie is then you see this human reaction to it and what one person can do. You know, one person standing against that and saying, "I won't accept that." You know, right or wrong, this is how I'm going to deal with it. And that's an inspiration for all humanity, I think.
When you're filming a role that is as intense as Sam Childers in this movie, what are you like as a guy on the set in between takes? Are you keeping to yourself? Are you cracking jokes to lighten the mood? What are you like?
Well, it's interesting because when we were in Detroit, still most of the movie was in a lighter note. I say lighter note, it's a much lighter. And compared to Africa, where I went to in Africa, I say lighter, because that's the funny thing, this movie is so intense. But Detroit was probably a lighter part to the story, and there was such a warmth on the set. Everybody was constantly walking around going, God, for a movie that demands so much, it's a very friendly and warm set. But when it got to Africa, I think I had been going at it for a while now. It got much more intense. Africa's where Sam really gets pulled down and the life gets sucked out of him. He just gets ground down by everything he's going through. Then, just by spending months in that headspace and constantly your research is about, the horrors of this militia and what they do to kids, and just that heartache of that fight. And then it started to weigh me down. So by the end of the movie, I probably wasn't as much fun to be around as I was at the beginning.
At the end of the film, you see actual photographs of the real-life Sam Childers who you play. And you learn that, you got the facial hair right, and there actually is a resemblance there. However, he has a little bit of a paunch, in the photos at least. So I think he owes you a thank you because you're in a lot better shape, I think, than he is necessarily.
Yeah, well, I think if you're playing like a Hitler or a JFK or a Gandhi, somebody who everybody knows who they are, just immediately it's in their consciousness, then you have a little more responsibility to pull that off. But it was my talk with Mark Forster, because I remember originally saying, okay, so I'm going to get overweight and a big mustache. He's like, no, listen, let's not get too crazy, because in some ways you have to still retain that kind of heroic quality, and there is something almost so raw already in this movie about what Sam goes through that we kind of thought, well, we gotta give the audience something to hang on to. I can't believe I'm talking about it. That's a crappy question you just asked.
Really? I'm sorry. Well, people are saying that you're in crazy shape. I saw a photograph of you. I think you were like behind the scenes at some sporting match. I don't know what it was.
Oh, yeah.
And there's like not an ounce of body fat on you.
Yeah.
Where did it all go? I mean, you didn't have that much anyway.
I didn't have a huge amount for the last while, but I've been my last movie, I was a soccer player in it. So I did a lot of training for that. So I was doing a lot of cardio, and over that time I was watching what I ate. I stopped lifting heavy weights. And then my next movie, I'm playing a surfer. I don't want to make it easy for myself. And so I've been doing a lot of cardio there as well. And overall, doing all of this motion, I've just stopped lifting weights. So I feel like I'm melting. But it's good. It's yeah.